Hello again, EDF friends. In this video I want to talk strategy about DLC Pack 2 Mission 5 called Engage Teleportation Anchors 2. How this mission works is there are 3 nest spawners or teleport nests at the beginning of the map, and once you kill one of those nests, then a small anchor is going to appear. And then once you kill that small anchor, then a large anchor is going to appear, and then once you kill the large anchor, a boss anchor is going to appear. So the best way to tackle this mission is to kill one nest at a time and follow the spawns that spawn after that till the end, and then kill the next small nest and follow those spawns until the end. That way you don't have to deal with so many enemies on the screen, because a lot of times I see on this mission where people just start killing things that are near them, and before you know it you have 3 big anchors on the screen trying to deal with that, or a bunch of bosses on the screen, which can be very, very difficult. I do recommend starting from the left side. That way you'll be able to deal with the Queen Wasp first, just to make sure you can get that taken care of and then survive that. That way if you have to restart, then you'll at least restart early rather than later, because usually the Queen Wasp is probably the most issue for most people. Let's talk briefly about the spawns really quickly as far as what spawns. So starting from the left side, if you kill the spider nest, that'll spawn a gray ant pillar in the middle back, and then once you kill the gray ant pillar, it'll spawn a large silver anchor in the back right, and then once you kill that silver big anchor, then a queen wasp will spawn on the back left side, which will also spawn some red wasps with it as well, some small ones. Then if you go to the middle one is also a spider nest. You kill that middle spider nest, then you'll have a red ant pillar on the right side. Then once you kill the red ant pillar, you'll spawn a large gold pillar on the back left. And then after you kill that gold pillar, it'll spawn a silver king behind spawn, which will also spawn some small silvers. And then if you go to the right nest is a gray nest. Once you kill that one, it'll spawn a wasp pillar on the far left side. Then once you kill that wasp pillar, it'll spawn a large green pillar right in front of spawn. And then once you kill that green pillar, it'll spawn a gold queen boss pillar in the back right, which will also spawn some small golds. Well, actually, before I talk about that, you can actually, it wouldn't be a bad idea, like I said, it's a good idea to just kill one nest and follow that till the end, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to kill the 2 spider nests at the beginning, because that way you'll have just a red, you pretty much can swap out that middle spider nest for a red ant pillar and just keep the red ant pillar alive, because that way it'd be easier to deal with red ants than it is to deal with spiders. So that would be the only thing I would recommend killing out of order, but other than that I would recommend just killing one nest at a time and following it to the end. Let's talk briefly about the weapons I would recommend for each class. First of all, let's start with Ranger class. So Ranger class is a support class on this mission. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, Ranger, I'm sorry. He is a support class though. The difference is, if you have a frontlines person that can stay up front and kite most of the enemies, then the weapons I would recommend for him in that case would be the missile launchers, just to help support with the small enemies that are chasing all the frontline person. I do like the MS Falcon, the DLC one as well, or of course if you have lower difficulty you can take the MEX Emerald or the ME Emeralds, ME4 Emerald. I would recommend taking the missile item as well, because you can fire it an awful lot quicker and it can be pretty useful. And then for your second weapon, I would recommend taking a shotgun for if anything gets close to you. It's usually pretty safe to fight with a shotgun. However, if you don't have a frontlines person, well then GG, it's going to be very tough. I have beaten this with 2 Rangers before on Inferno. The best thing to do if you don't have a frontlines is to just take your best sniper. For the DLC I was taking the Dunkel, or of course you could take the Blazer as a sniper as well, of course, if you don't. But you need something for long range to kill the pillars, and then of course for close range, I was taking I would say the fracture isn't a bad idea. The buster shot, of course, is good. If you have lower difficulties, you know, the slaughter shotgun, the monsoons are good. Or even you could take a, if you have access to the Firecracker Zero, it's also a very good crowd weapon to kill a bunch of enemies quickly. Very fast, very strong. But what I did was when I had two rangers, I just had one of us take a missile launcher, and the other person took shotgun and sniper, and we just worked together and take it slow, and you can probably do it, but it is tough. I do recommend taking the 200% run, or of course the DLC Hybrid Protector XE if you have access to that super fast sprint, is also decent. You could also possibly try taking a helicopter and throwing C-70 bombs from the helicopter, and then save the WASP side for the end. So instead of starting from the left, you'd start from the right and work your way to the left. That way you deal with the WASP later and not have enemies on the ground to fight with, but I think it'd still be tough for Ranger. For Wing Diver, the weapons I recommend for Wing Diver will, of course, she'll probably be up front lines. You want weapons to fight the bosses and the spawners with, so if you want to take a weapon for that, I'd recommend taking Phalanx, which is very strong for killing bosses and spawners. You could take a Stardust Cannon, is also very good for bosses and spawners. Dragoon Lance, the big one-shot one, is also good for bosses and spawners because of the range, the level 92. Or of course the other one, the lower level ones that have a decent range. I would recommend taking a Raijin Limit as well. You could use that for bosses and spawners. But I wouldn't recommend a normal Raijin because of just the energy cost, whereas this you can fire 9 times before you have to reload, and that way you can get to a safe spot and reload if you ever need to reload this thing. And then you want something close for when you're fighting close, and for that I recommend, I really recommend the Dragoon Lance 49. It's very cheap and 13,000 damage. It's very good even on Inferno. I recommend the Spark Whip ZAM is very good for crowds. The Spine Blaster ZAM is good for crowds, and of course the Rapier Nova is good as well for crowds. Or you know, the triple lances are good. Those kind of weapons. But yeah, those are the weapons I would recommend for Wing Diver. For Air Raider, Air Raider isn't too bad here, honestly. If you have a front lines person, then you can be more in the back and fighting pillars for the people while they're fighting the enemies. So if that's the case, then I would take a Bulge Laser for the pillars, or you could take gunships. I recommend the 105 or the Vulcan cannons or the machine gun ones. Of course, you can take a Phobos if you can let people know about, you know, when they're kiting a big group, you can tell them to watch out for the Phobos, and you can call it on them to kill the enemies. Or of course, a Sprite Fall is good. And then I would take a Nyx to defend yourself for if anything gets close. If you don't have a front lines, then it is still possible. I do like helicopter an awful lot on this mission. Even if you do have a front lines, I don't mind taking a helicopter, because what you can do is you can do an awful lot from the helicopter, and as long as you don't have the wasps out, you can be very safe until that wasp phase. So what I recommend with the helicopter would be to taking, you can take a gunship from the helicopter, which you can fight with, which I'll show here briefly in a video. You can fire the gunship while you're in the helicopter, and also the Phobos you can also throw while you're in the helicopter, which I'll also show how you do that. And then I would recommend a set of turrets to defend yourself when you do have to land to the ground, to switch out helicopters or just to land to defend something. Alright, here we go. I'm going to show really quickly about the helicopter here. So you want to make sure to thank the person that drops them off, because they don't get enough thanks. So once you get your helicopter out, I'm going to throw the Phobos here first. What you do is you just get into the air in a safe spot, of course. Try not to move forward, left, right, or up or down. Just try and stay in one spot in the air. And then just hop out of the helicopter really quick, double tap the trigger to lay it, and then hop back in. It's better to do it multiple times just to be safe. Just to make sure you get back in the helicopter, but if you don't get it the first time, it's not a big deal. It's better to not fall to the ground and take a couple tries than to, of course, fall down to the ground. But so you can throw the Phobos that way, and then of course you can swap weapons in the helicopter as well. Just try not to be moving, and just hop out, swap weapons, hop back in, and then now I'm going to show you how to throw the beacon here. The beacon is very useful. The gunship is very useful from the helicopter. Like I said, as long as your helicopter is level, you're not moving forward or backward. Wherever the laser line just rests in neutral position, that's where you're going to shoot your gunship. So you just want to line up your helicopter laser right to the pillar or whatever you're going to shoot, and then hop out and shoot your gunship, and it'll work really well. Unfortunately, you have to allow the helicopter to fall down because you have to be level when you do this, but as you can see, I'm not moving at all. My laser is resting there, and it'll shoot where the laser is at, so pretty nice. I'm going to do a few more here where I throw the Phobos here. I'll switch to my Phobos and then just throw it, and then most of the enemies are usually chasing you by then, so. But yeah, you're pretty safe in the helicopter this whole mission for the most part, except the WASP phase. And if you ever get low on fuel, you can always, swap a helicopter out somewhere away in the mountains. And you can also throw a helicopter to the ground, or a vehicle to the ground while you're in the helicopter, so you can just hop out, press the X button, and hop back in really quick. And you'll be able to throw your helicopter and then, come back for it once enemies aren't on you to swap out. You can also throw your laser turrets or your turrets from the helicopter, but it's a lot more difficult. You'd be falling for a long distance, so that you're well, I guess I'll just recommend watching my quick tips video about throwing vehicles and stuff from the helicopter, or throwing weapons, because each one is a little bit different. But yeah, pretty useful. You can pretty much fight like this the whole time. Of course, you can use your helicopter's ammo as well while you're doing this as well, but very, very useful. So I think I'm just going to head over here and do one last beacon, and then that'll be all. Unfortunately, the Queen is hard to hit with the helicopter unless she's fighting someone else, because she'll tend to fly above you higher than you can fly. So a little bit more difficult to hit the Queen, but you can always use the helicopter to fight the Queen itself, the helicopter's guns. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show really quickly here with the helicopter. So I definitely recommend this vehicle on this mission. Probably, I can't think of a better second vehicle, honestly, than maybe a Red Guard that's fast to hop around, but even so, I think helicopter is so much safer. Alright, now I'm going to swap last to my beacon. I'll throw one more Phobos. It is a little bit dangerous to fly into the Phobos, because as you can see, the Phobos attacks come from above you, so you can get hit by them, whereas the strafe plans are lower to the ground. But and then last of all, Fencer. Fencer is very good here, of course. You want something for close range, so I would recommend. There's a lot of different options actually. Jackhammer shotgun is good, of course. Blast hole spear or spine driver with a dispersion mortar is good for bosses and anchors. I do like swapping out the first weapon, the jackhammer, with a vibro hammer or the finest hammer, or the DLC one, of course. Is also very good. It kills a bunch of enemies on the ground. Or of course you can swap out the blast hole spear spine driver with the vibro hammer. But that's usually pretty good for the small enemies, and then, like I said, dispersion mortar is good for the pillars. Of course, you can also take the shotgun. The DLC shotgun is very good for the pillars as well. And then, of course, missiles are always good with Fencer. It's never a bad idea to take missiles as well. So, Fencer is pretty safe in this mission as well. Like I said, as long as you take it slowly and just follow one spawn till the end, and don't kill too many of the don't kill all the small ones first, and then just kill one all the way to the end, you're gonna be pretty safe on this mission. So yeah, I just wanted to briefly share that. I noticed this mission can be tough online, and I thought this might be helpful. So yeah, that's all I have for this one. So once again, thanks a lot for watching, and remember, EDF doesn't leave a man behind, ever. And also, if you're interested in ways to support this channel, please consider hitting the join button next to the subscribe button, or watching a few ads, or sharing the channel with someone, as it does help financially. It's very much appreciated. Thanks a lot. Hope to see you in the next